Crank up the volume and get ready for real-world bird hunting by listening to the Wingmen Podcast by Eastmans. Now your host, Todd Helms.
This episode's brought to you by Federal Premium. Guys, I've been shooting Federal shot shells for a really long time. You know, whenever I had to scratch up money from whatever chores I had to do and jobs I had to do when I was a kid, I always grabbed a box of Federal Premium. It worked for me back then, and it still works for me today. Everything from the TSS heavyweight black cloud loads to the traditional black cloud loads to the blue box speed shock and now the new heavy bismuth loads. Federal's got a load out there for your price point, your budget, and your level of performance that you're looking for. So, be like me, reach for Federal. That is my unashamed opinion.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Wingmen Podcast. You know, we've been doing this quite a while now, and I don't even really know what episode we're on, but I've got an awesome guest today with Zach Call of C4 Calls down in Colorado. And Zach and I have never really met, but we've kind of had a roundabout. We hunt with a lot of the same folks, and I've gotten to witness the effectiveness of Zach's products in the field. I tell you what, I was impressed. So, through back channels and people that we both know, we hooked this podcast up. So I hope you guys enjoy this. We're going to run down through who Zach is and what his call company does and the products that they make, and talk hunting, talk dogs, just, you know, a typical Wingmen podcast, guys. So before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to my partners and sponsors. I want to thank all of them because they make what we do here possible, guys. And I just want to thank Weatherby, Leupold, Federal Premium Ammunition, High Mountain Seasonings, and Kryptek. Guys, they're phenomenal brands that I truly believe in. And if you're in the market for any of the products that they have, that they produce, I would highly recommend you give them a look. So, bills are paid. Zach Call, how are you, dude? Thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, good, man. Thank you for having me. Really excited to meet you. Yeah, finally face to face.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like it's been roundabout. You know, like I said, when I first started hanging out with the Platte Basin Outdoors crew, Mike and all his guys, they're all blowing these cool looking little calls. And I'm like, when I say little, they're little calls, you know, and I'm like, man, those sound pretty good. And of course, most of them are blowing like shorty calls, you know, little goose calls. And I said, yeah, those sound sweet, man. Who makes those calls? And they're like, oh, it's this local guy down here, you know, it's C4 Calls. And here we are a couple of years later visiting.
Yeah.
So tell us about who you are, man, and what you do and where you came from.
Yeah, man. So I'm an East Coast boy. I grew up in Maryland, on the Western Shore in Calvert County. Grew up hunting big geese and sea ducks and stuff all along Chesapeake Bay. Grew up with that way of life, crabbing, you know, boating, catching rockfish. And then went to undergrad in Maryland, then came out to Colorado for grad school in chemistry. So then I went to CSU for my grad school, finished up a PhD in 2022 in analytical chemistry. And then during grad school, man, I was on a tight budget, man. They don't pay us a lot. So, started, I was like, man, you know, I can guide. So then I started guiding in Colorado, and then guided for another outfit for a few years, met John and Mike through that. And then when they started PBO, you know, just fell right in guiding for those guys. So, but yeah, been in Colorado, I think 8-9 years now, and been loving it. So.
That's cool, man. Yeah. So yeah, once you get sucked in by the PBO guys, John and Mike, it's hard not to want to do stuff with them. You know, I find myself like, dude, I want to go down there and hunt teal, and I want to go down there and hunt doves, and I just want to be down there all the time hunting with those guys because they're so much fun to be with. So that's cool that you got hooked up with them, and so you did that kind of as a way to, you know, make ends meet. What do you do now other than the calls? Because I would assume that you're not making calls like it's not, you know, it's probably passion project.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it's, it's a hobby. It's a fun hobby. Make a little money on it to keep it going. But yeah, so I work for a biotech startup company in Fort Collins, Burst Diagnostics, little shout out. But it's a company that was founded off of some work during my PhD project that we then took that patent and then rolled it in to a diagnostic company. So we kind of make, if you can think about it, it makes kind of new age diagnostic tests. So if you're familiar with like a pregnancy test, right? And you're probably familiar with like a lab-based test that everybody was doing during COVID. Yeah, so we kind of merged those two technologies to make a fast, sensitive, and reliable pregnancy test that you can trust. So that's my day job, man. That's what takes up 99% of my bandwidth, honestly, and I love it. I got a great team there, and it's awesome, man. But then, yeah, just the calls and the guiding, that's a weekend gig.
So let's get back to that pregnancy test. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a bird hunting podcast.
Yeah, man.
But that's really interesting, dude. Go into more detail about that.
Yeah, so it's Burst Diagnostics. The technology that we licensed that I helped develop during my grad school time was called CADI. So capillary driven immunoassay is what it stands for, CADI. And it essentially is a microfluidic platform that automates the steps of a laboratory-based test, something that's called an ELISA. It's a really sensitive laboratory test that uses enzyme amplification to give you a really sensitive and specific result. So typically an ELISA is done in a lab by trained personnel, and then we essentially, it takes about 4 hours to complete. We essentially figure out how to deconstruct the steps of an ELISA and then put that onto something that looks and feels like a pregnancy test that you can do in 10 minutes at home. So it's a really attractive technology. We can sell it for cheap, we can make it for cheap, and think it can help a lot of people. So we're about 3 years off the ground. We started that right as I finished grad school in 2022. And then now, yeah, we've grown, got some great data, and it's been fun, man. Startup world is crazy, man. It stresses me out, but it's so fun. So that's a brief overview, and we got a website, and feel free to go in there. But talking about calls and
dude, that's so interesting, and that's what I love about not having a scripted podcast platform. Is it allows us the flexibility of if something trips our trigger, we can just talk about it. And dude, that is crazy. So as a startup, then I'm assuming that the goal is to sell that product to a manufacturer that brings it on, large scale production, and you guys make a couple $1 million, several million, tens of millions of dollars on that product.
That's exactly right. Yeah. We have a couple of different business strategies, whether it's like a third-party consulting arm of the company or a licensing venture. I'm always submitting grants to the NIH, NSF for more funding. Looking for venture capitalists, always looking for companies that want to work with us, because we have a platform technology that is able to, if there's an antibody for it. So an antibody is something that, your body produces antibodies, and say you have the COVID virus, your body produces antibodies that is going to grab on to that virus, to that antigen, and then we can detect that. So if there's an antibody for a virus or an infectious disease or small molecules, hormones, really anything that you can think about, we can make a test for it. So that's why it's a really attractive platform technology that could be applied to so many different things that could help so many different people, from vet med to home healthcare, to like daily, like even testosterone testing, for example. We could do that. So it's fun.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Zach, you might be the smartest guy I've ever had on my podcast. That's
about that.
No, that's amazing, dude. That's super cool. It's super interesting. I hope you guys make millions and millions of dollars and all this retire so you can hunt ducks and do whatever you guys want to do for the rest of your lives. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Man, that's a world that, that's something that's foreign to me, but people like you just impress me. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk ducks. So
yeah.
C4 calls. The first time I ever got to see them, the first hunt I ever did with Platte Basin Outdoors, I did not know Mike. I did not know anybody.
Yeah.
Mike and I did a podcast, and I screwed it up, and I didn't press record the first time.
Yeah, I remember him telling me about that.
Oh, dude. And he and I crushed it. I mean, he was a great guest, ton of fun, but I forgot to press record, so we had to do it again. And of course, the second take is not nearly as organic. It's not nearly as good.
Yeah.
But whatever. So then he invited me down to do some hunting because we're both aligned with Kryptek.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, sure. And he called me and we went down on a whim. I literally threw something. It was for the last day of duck season.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days of little geese.
Yep.
And we had an absolute ball. And we've hunted quite a bit together since then. But that was the first time I was introduced to C4 calls. And they sound great. They look cool. Those guys are all running them. And, you know, I immediately went to the website and I'm looking at him. I'm like, oh, he makes a honker call too.
Yes.
Because we shoot, you know, a little goose call doesn't do me any good up here.
Yep.
Because I'm shooting all big geese, you know.
I grew up in Maryland, man. It was all big geese. You know,
yes.
I grew up talking, you know, having a conversation with big geese. And that's what I love to do, man. I love big geese. Little geese are fun, especially when you get big spins. But, man, like something about big geese in the snow, couple honks, couple moans, you know, just, oh man, love it.
It's more of a conversation. You know, I feel like with littles, you're just trying to make a crap load of noise to get their attention and keep them focused on your decoys. But with big geese, it's a game. It's a conversation. You're trying to talk them down and get them in. And a lot of times you're working pairs, threes, fours, and you're listening to that bird and you're trying to figure out what it wants to hear, and you're watching its body language, and you hit a note and it reacts a certain way. And yeah, it's fascinating to me. So it's like, oh, he does make big goose calls, and you have an intermediate one too. But I'll let you talk about that, man. Talk about your calls. Talk about how did you get started making calls? You know, because there's people that listen to this that's the beautiful thing about living in the United States of America is there's people listening to this going, I think maybe I'd want to do that. That's a really cool idea. Or, oh man, yeah, sounds like a cool dude. I want to go check out the C4 Calls website and buy one of those calls.
Yeah.
Walk us through it, dude. Tell us about it.
So, I mean, it's funny that we talked about, you know, my day job, because that's kind of the origin story to it. So when I was at grad school at CSU at Colorado State, I entered into an analytical chemistry lab that did a lot of 3D printing. So I learned CAD design. I learned how to 3D print, learned how to prototype really fast. And that's the beautiful part about 3D printing. If you are proficient in a CAD 3D drawing software, you know, you can think about it, you can draw it, and then you can print it same day, which is awesome. So I kind of got good with that, doing my actual research with the 3D printer. But then, you know, my boss might get mad if he listens to this, but I think he already knows. During grad school, right, my partner and kind of business partner with C4 Calls, Cody Carroll, he was a year above me in grad school doing the same thing. But we both really enjoyed hunting, and we bonded over hunting. And he was a big game guy, came from Wisconsin. I was a waterfowl guy, came from the East Coast, but we both shared that passion of hunting. And we were like, hey man, like we love like being able to make our own stuff. We're tinkerers at heart. So we used the 3D printer in our research lab to start prototyping duck calls, goose calls, and elk calls. Because we're like, how cool would it be if we like were able to like make a call that sounded like halfway decent? We could go out and like harvest a duck with it, or harvest an elk with it, or harvest, you know, whatever with it. So we just started playing with it, man. And I tell you what, the first ones looked absolutely horrendous. They were terrible, bro. They were absolutely ugly, you know, looking back, but they made a sound. I was able to put a tone board in it, put a wedge in it, shave the reed down, like, you know, use other calls as inspiration of like, how do I even build this thing?
Right.
So I guess that was back in like, gosh, that had to be like 2018. I guess 2018, 2019, we started messing with it. And then just got better and better at it. Just all 3D printing, all prototyping, and to the point where we invested a little bit of money and then bought our own 3D printer, and then started making better, you know, really fine tuning that design. And then that's when like we launched the website probably back in like 2020, 2021. And then just started making calls. A lot of it was word of mouth, right? I don't do any advertising. I don't do any marketing. It's like when I'm in the pit with clients, I'm like, oh, hey, what are you blowing? And I'm like, yeah, you can shoot me a DM, go to our website. But yeah, man, that's kind of how I got started. And I think Cody and I, we both have a love to always make things better. So we're always improving designs. We're always prototyping, making new stuff, making like different attachments. Now I've gotten into like more of like hunting accessories, like gun wrists, gunsling mounts. I was making like a phone scope for that attached to your phone. That was a magnetic phone scope that you could put on your binos. All kinds of different stuff that you can 3D print, man. So, but
that's super cool. You know, I never thought. You know, I'm sure there's other people out there making 3D printed, you know, game calls.
Yeah,
but you're the first one that I've seen, you know, in real life, in person.
Yeah.
And honestly, it wasn't until I went to your website and started digging around and looking at what you guys have, because it was the same way. I'm in the pit, guys are blowing your stuff. It sounds awesome. They look cool. And I went, I'm gonna go check those out. And it wasn't until I went there that I'm like, wow, the price point on these is not what I expected. These are way cheaper than what I thought they were going to be. And then I'm like, you know, oh, they're 3D printed. They're not hand turned on a lathe. They're 3D printed.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
You know, and they're not the cheap little 3D printed toys my kids buy at the, you know, every time we go to the hardware store either.
Right. Yeah. And there's different types of 3D printing technology out there.
Yeah.
We're using one that's really high resolution. That creates a solid piece of plastic, which is able to really act like polycarbonate, act like acrylic, and then gotten just really good at the post-processing game to make them look good, right? But that was the whole point, is like we could 3D print custom stuff. When you hand turn stuff, yeah, you can turn it, you can make it look great, but then you also have to have a laser cutter to put a custom logo on there. Mm-hmm. I can do that all in one step. In CAD design, I can put your dog's face on it. I could put wingmen on it. I put ducks, geese, any type of custom design I can put on the call for you really quickly, and then also really cost effectively.
I saw that when you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No, that's it. That's just like, that was like the draw of it. It was like, hey man, we can make a custom product for people that people give as birthday presents, Christmas presents. Put your dog's name on it. Like my calls have my dog's names on it, you know.
Dude, I love that, because that was what I saw when I went to the website. I was looking at them and I'm like, you know, usually you go to somebody's website and they got a million different colors and you got to pick one, and none of them are exactly what you want, it seems like. And, you know, you're looking around at it and it's like, okay, that's cool. But you go to yours and it's like, how many reeds you want?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want any engraving on it? And that's it.
Yeah. Try to make it easy. Simple,
it's like,
always better in my mind.
Yeah. So what about colors? You know, is because I didn't. If a guy orders up a call, is he stuck with a certain color, or can he request a color?
It kind of depends what I have in stock, honestly.
Sure.
So I'm buying like a liquid plastic, like a resin in batches. So it's kind of like I'll do like builds of like one color, and then when that runs out, I might try a different color. But I'm always trying to keep the same properties of that, you know, liquid plastic. So it's going to hold up for you. It's not going to be too brittle, you know, stuff like that. So if a guy really wants a certain color, you know, I'm going to make it happen for him. But I might have to increase price because I might not have that color in stock.
Right. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But I mean, that was the whole point, man. I mean, we were trying to make something that's cost effective. These calls out there nowadays are like $300, man.
Oh, dude, it's unbelievable.
I'm not going to name names, but it's like $300, $250. Yeah, they sound good, but man, I can make a $60 call that sounds just as good.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing that I noticed, Zach, is being in the pit with guys that are blowing your calls. And I haven't blown one. And I'd like to change that. I haven't personally blown one because for me, blowing at somebody else's goose calls like kissing his wife. You just don't do that, you know.
Yeah, you don't do that. I don't do it. I mean, I have to do it sometimes because John blows reeds out more than anybody I've ever seen.
John blows hard.
Dude,
that sounded terrible.
That guy has to split, like, I mean, I mean, is it untrue though? I don't know.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. No. Got to give John a little shit, you know, every now and then.
No, but, he's a good dude.
Yeah, I mean, that dude splits more reeds than anybody I know, right? But so I mean, that's the time that I have to I'm always tuning calls in the pit. It seems like I always got my tuning kit with me, changing out reeds for guys, retuning it, whatever. So,
well, it's interesting too, because like I said, the sound of them, and you have a couple of sound profiles up on website for the goose calls, and they sound amazing to me. Like I'm listening to your sound profiles, and especially the one that you filmed outside, because there's ambient noise. There's birds in the background.
I think that was like so long ago, man. I need to update all that stuff.
Well, it sounds incredible. Like if you just closed your eyes and if somebody played it for you and didn't tell you it was a sound file, dude blowing on a call, you'd think it was a real goose on a pond someplace.
Thanks, man.
They sound amazing. They have a great price point for them. I love the fact that I can go, I want some engraving on this. I want my dog's names on them, or I want one. I'm going to buy these for my kids, and I want my kid's name on each call. And
a lot of parents' gifts, for the kids. Oh, hey, he's just getting into duck hunting. I want to get him a custom call with his name on it, right? And that's fun. That's fun for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I look at it and I love how simple your stuff is too, because I go to the website and I don't have to sort through 18 different calls, because I just go to your website. I look, there's 3 models of goose call. There's a big goose call, intermediate goose call, and a little goose call. And I'm not talking about size. I'm talking about, what they're designed to hunt. There's a honker call. There's an all around call. That'll kind of do everything. And then there's the little goose call. That's for the little guys. And then you got an elk call on there, which looked sweet. And you got a duck call. And the duck call is the typical, basically J-frame style.
Yep.
And you pick your reeds and you go hunt.
Yep.
Simple,
man.
Simple.
Through grad school, I learned this really well, right? It's the KISS method. Are you familiar with the KISS method?
Oh, yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid, man. It's like, don't make it easy. Why do we have to make it so complicated? That will kill a duck. That'll kill a goose. I try to make them as easy as to blow and user friendly as possible, and at a good price point. I think that's probably my motto or my business strategy is like, I'm not here to,
All right. So we had a little technical error there. I don't know if we had an earthquake on the Front Range or what, but Zach's Wi-Fi cut out on him, so we're going to splice these two together. So let's get back into it. We were talking about the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid.
That's right. Yeah. And then, that's my motto, man. It's the motto with, how I approach a lot of my problems, right? Keep it simple and then go up from there. But that's what I try to keep with calls, man. This call will kill a duck. This call will kill a goose. This call will kill an elk, and try to make them easy to blow and user friendly, and not going to, break the bank while you do it.
I think that's the thing. I look at, let's just say Phil Robertson, for example, with Duck Commander.
Yeah, rest in peace, man.
Absolutely.
Awesome pioneer of our sport, man.
Absolutely. The man never made a call that cost more than about $50. I think he's got some that are more expensive than that now. But when I was first starting out blowing his calls or blowing a Primos call, you could go to Walmart, you could go to your sporting goods store, your hardware store, and you could pick them up, and they didn't cost an arm and a leg, and they killed ducks, or they killed geese.
Yeah.
And I transitioned as I got more serious about it. I bought some of the expensive brand name calls. I'll never forget. I walked into a Cabela's back when they were rocking and rolling hard, and it was like the place to buy all your stuff.
Yeah.
And this guy was blowing his goose call, and it sounded like there was a goose in the back of the store. And I was like, holy smokes. I went back there and I said, what is that? And he said, it's a foil straight meat honker.
That was my guess. Before you said anything, I was like, it's got to be a foil straight meat, man.
Yep. And I said, I want one.
Yep.
He goes, okay. And I didn't even, it cost $150, and I choked it down. Yep. I'd been working my butt off all summer long. I was, holy smokes. I was in between undergrad and grad school. I didn't have much, but I bought that call, and dude, I still have it. The reeds never split. The guts have worn in. I haven't blown it in years. And I got it out a few weeks ago and was just playing with it. And I'm like, dude, this call sounds every bit as good as it ever did.
Yep.
But it was $150.
Yep.
And I was like, holy smokes. And then it seemed like there was a stretch in there where everybody was buying $125 to $150 calls. And because if you really wanted to, I mean, let's face it, you want to be a little cool when you're out there doing this stuff, and I feel like there's a shift in that now. I feel like we've hit a ceiling in it. I see it in the world of bow hunting. I see it in the world of fly fishing. I've been fly fishing since I was 6 years old, and I caught more fish on a cheap Eagle Claw yellow fiberglass rod than you could shake a stick at. And that's what my kids fish with, because it's cheap. And if they break it, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But holy smokes, dude. I mean, we're approaching $1,500 or $2,000 now for a fishing rod.
I know.
And I'm going, what? And who's buying these things?
People are always buying it, but I'm against it. We live in a capitalistic country, and go out and make your money. But man, we want to get more people into hunting. We shouldn't make it harder for people to get into hunting. I feel like now guys who want to get into waterfowl hunting, they're like, okay, I need a $2,000 shotgun. I need $20,000 in decoys. I need a trailer. I need,
no, you don't.
Expensive calls. It's like, no, you don't, man.
No.
I started with, growing up in Maryland, man, some wooden silhouettes and a Mossberg 500,
I bought a Remington 870 Express with my mowing lawn money or chore money when I was, 12 or 13 years old for $125.
I bet it still shoots too.
Yeah, it looks a lot different now than it did back then. I've got it all modded out now, but it's the same. It's the same gun.
It still shoots.
Gun, and it still shoots.
Yep.
It's my grizzly bear and home defense weapon now. It's got a flashlight on it and a mag extension, and I mean, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, Zach. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I do look at how expensive clothing and just gear, calls, ammunition, and thank God there's still companies out there like Federal, who make really high quality, affordable ammunition at the same time as really high end, expensive ammunition, because they're trying to cover what everybody's needs.
Right.
There's companies like Weatherby that if you want a $10,000 gun, they got it.
Yep.
But they also have $1,000 gun,
right?
Or an $800 gun that for you as well. The older I get, and I got 3 little kids, and we're stretching to make ends meet every month, I'm like, yeah, man, a $50 goose call sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah,
it really does. Does it sound good? Is it going to fall apart on me? Am I going to crush it? Is my lab going to step on it, or is it going to come apart hanging from the mirror of my pickup? No. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, and I think stuff always happens with calls. People run them over, people break it. It's a plastic call at the end of the day, but
yeah,
that's a big thing, man. It's a lifetime warranty. I'm going to try to give you the best product that I can that is going to last as long as it can. If it doesn't, okay, no problem. I'll get you a new one in the mail as soon as I can, right? No cost to you. And then that's it, man. I'm not, kind of like I said before, I'm not really trying to make.
That's brave of you.
I'm not, well, man, like I want to give people something that they like, that they can go out and have a great time with and make some memories with. And I like doing it, right? So I'm not here to make a bunch of money. I'm not here to like gouge people. I'm here to make something that people enjoy. And yeah, if a reed splits, man, no problem. I'll get new reeds in the mail for you. If the O-ring cracks, I got you. I'll get them in the mail for you. If something comes out of tune, I'm like, just send it back and pay for shipping, and I'll do a retune for free. I'm not pressed, man.
Yeah. I think that's, the fact that you don't, because you never know what happens. You want to take people, you want to believe people, but the honest truth is, if I wasn't as anally retentive with my equipment as I am, my 5-year-old son would have probably broken a lot more of my stuff than, you go out there and all my calls are smashed to pieces because he found my framing hammer, and my duck calls were sitting on the bench, on the workbench.
Yep.
And I don't do that. My stuff's dialed and put away because I'm an old dad at 47 years old, and I on the third round now. I've learned a little bit, and so I circumvent things before they happen. But and part of it was I remember breaking my own dad's stuff when I was a kid. But yeah, I get it. Things happen. Accidents happen. Calls get dropped and run over, or that. But yeah, having that, it just makes it easier. Because I would imagine too, with your platform, you say you're getting folks that are buying calls, custom calls with their kid's name on them, or their dog's name on them, or a buddy who passed away or something like that, right?
Yep.
And they break that call, or it gets destroyed, it gets crushed, whatever. You can do the exact same call that they had before.
Because I already have it in a file, because it's a print file, right?
Exactly.
I already made the design. All I got to do is go into the printer and press print again. So it's, I don't have to go out and turn another call. I don't have to go spend time on the laser doing the file again. I already made it. I made it once. I just press print.
Right.
That's the beautiful part about 3D printing, and I love it. It's fun. I tinker. But it's also like, it's easy at the end of the day. Probably the hardest part about it is just the post-processing it and getting it to look, and feel like a real turn call. Because I think that's what people want. People want like something that like looks and feels expensive, but also costs $50. So
right. Yeah, I mean, you're not even trying to compete with the guys like Maker's Call Company, who I had on the podcast a while back.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude's making custom calls that are hand-turned pieces of wood. Each one is unique, and they're works of art.
And they are beautiful, and they sound amazing. And
absolutely,
so much props to those guys. They make beautiful calls that rip. Right. I'm not trying to be that guy. Right. I'm not trying to quit my day job to go make calls 24/7 or get injection molded calls. I'm really here to just have some fun with it. And it's a hobby, and keep, make enough money to keep it going, I guess. But
the way I look at calls, there's in hunting, especially in waterfowl hunting, there's two types of equipment. There's the aspirational equipment that you work hard to be able to afford someday, and you might not use it all that much. Maybe it's a really fine over and under shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Winchester 101 or a Browning Superposed. It's your dream gun, whatever that might be, or whether it be Athena or something. And you save up the money and you buy one, and you take it on like 1 or 2 special hunts a year. And then you got your Weatherby Sorex that you take out and just beat on every single day because it's your working tool.
Right.
I see that the same way with calls, where your calls are efficient to produce. They're easy to produce. They sound awesome. Yep. They have a great warranty to them. They're customizable. That's my everyday go-to call, because guess what? If it gets smashed, you said it a minute ago, you got it on file. It's a print file. Boom, you print me another one.
Yep. Just email me, shoot me a personal message,
exactly.
Call, text me, and I'll get a new one going for you. I mean, John, me, John, Mike, all my buddies who are on the Front Range. I mean, that are in the kind of the guide stuff. I mean, they've been running my calls every day.
Yes.
For how many years, right? Yeah, breed split, but still the same call. Still sounds good. So
and that's the amazing thing too about hunting in those pits. And this is a testimonial for you that you're not soliciting, but I'm going to give you props. Hunting out of pits is the most difficult thing. It's going to put the most stress and wear and tear on your pieces, on your equipment, on your calls, on your gun, because you're hiding in the dirt. And these guys do a great job of lining the pits with plastic and trying to minimize that dirt. But you're still in and out of the pits. You're getting dirt and everything. When I came back from hunting with them for the first time, dude, my calls wouldn't even blow.
Yeah,
they wouldn't even blow. And I'm not running yours.
We'll get you
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
We'll get some.
But they wouldn't even blow. I had to completely dismantle them, run them on hot soapy water, and they're half full of Copenhagen anyway, so they needed to be cleaned out. But
I think they sound better with a little dip in there.
I think so too. A little bit of grit in that craw, but and so the fact that you got to replace a reed every now and then, or an O-ring cracks or something, it's like, yeah, that's going to happen. And those conditions that I've seen your calls in are the most difficult, demanding conditions that you're going to hunt waterfowl in. Most guys aren't packing their calls full of sand and grit and then having to blow their lungs out in a call trying to convince 500, little geese to spin into the spread, or hit like the last hunt I did where I was with John. That wasn't a snow goose hunt because that's electronics, right? But the weather was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was terrible, and my calls weren't working. His were, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna sit here and film, And I got my calls, I got them cleaned up and I got them working, but I was like, dude, his calls sound great. They work. I've witnessed them work in horrible conditions in the field and not quit. And they have a warranty, and they're customizable, and they're $50? I mean,
I think our duck call is like $50, and then price adds on if you want to add more customizable, but I think it tops out at like 110 if you want like everything.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and also the thing about the different type of material too, it's less prone to sticking. So the duck call specifically,
talk about that. Yeah, because you said this call will not stick no matter what. And I'm like, I've heard that my whole life, and it's BS. So
I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it, right?
Okay.
I'm not a guy that's going to sell you snake oil. So it's a photopolymer resin. It's not acrylic. It's not hand turned. The surface tension of that property, which means pretty much how water interacts with that surface, is different than acrylic. So, when you put spit in it, right, it has a certain surface tension with that material, which means it has a less surface tension, so it's not going to stick as easy. Oh. So what that means is, like with the duck call, people are spitting in that thing like crazy. I have tried to stick my duck call so many times. It might hang up for a second, but then you can just put a bunch of air through it, and then it rips right out. Same thing with the goose calls. It's really, really, really hard to stick them. I'm not saying it's impossible, but
right.
And I blow those calls. I'm a guide on the front range. I blow the heck out of my gear. So
right.
But yeah, so I mean, that's a really kind of a neat coincidence, I guess. I didn't even try to design it. It was just the physical properties of the material that I'm using that allow it to be kind of non-stick. So it's really cool.
Dude, that's super cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah. You're the only person I've talked to that's 3D printing calls. I'm sure there's other guys doing it. They're the only person I've talked to that has that science background, and I love the diversity in the waterfowl space, because you got guys that are hand turning calls out of ridiculously exotic wood that costs, a blank of that stuff is ridiculous, and you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay $500 to $1,000 for one of their, or more, for one of their beautiful custom calls.
Not even get into the collector side of things.
Yeah. And that's like the art side of it, right?
Yeah. That's a work of art that it's like for a painting, right? At that point.
Yeah, it's different. It's different.
Right.
And then you got what you're doing, where it's like, I'm making tools.
Yeah.
I'm making tools for the dude that's going to go out and he needs a reliable tool to kill a duck, to kill a goose. And guess what? If the tool breaks, I'm going to make him another one.
Yep.
I love that. You're like the craftsman of, the craftsman tools used to be like, if you broke one, you brought it back to any Sears store and they replaced it, free of charge. I don't think they do that anymore, but
I don't think there's any Sears left. So.
Well, you can still buy craftsman products, but I don't think the warranty works the same way, but
right.
But I mean, that's kind of what you're operating on. And I love that mindset. I've shifted to that mindset over time where, man, I wanted to have the super expensive stuff, and thought that was what I wanted. And I got a little bit of it, and I realized, yeah, this doesn't work any better. This doesn't call ducks or geese any better than, this call over here. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. My brother and I, when we were living in Michigan, we were slaying honkers like it was our job. You'd have thought we were guides, even though we weren't guides, but we hunted ridiculous amount. And I had, by this time I had a string full of foils calls, and because I liked them. I liked the way they sounded. I liked the way they blew. And he had a couple foils. He had a big guy's best. He had, I think he had an RNT duck call. But the point is we had $500, $600, $700 worth of calls hanging around our necks, maybe 1,000. We were hunting this cattail point, hard bottoms, hard sandy bottoms. It was easy to just stand in the reeds. And it was late. It was December, late season mallard hunt. We kind of killed a few birds. It was a pretty good morning. And we loaded everything up and loaded in the flatback canoe, bomb back to, the boat, to the takeout. And we get back there and we're going to go hunting a couple days later. And he goes to get his calls. And he's like, dude, I don't know where my calls are. And he kept pretty close tabs on this stuff, but he had taken them off, and I don't know why he did that, but he'd taken them off and hung them on. He'd broken a couple of cattails and hung them on those reeds.
Yeah.
And I said, dude, the last time you had them was 2 days ago when we were hunting that reed point.
Yeah.
He goes, oh man. So he jumps. It's the middle of the night. He jumps, takes the canoe, runs out there with a light, and he's scouring that point. And this is a hard bottom, so it was like, and it's clear water, so if they fell in the water, you'd probably be able to see them, right? But it's also public, and we weren't the only ones that hunted it. And I'm like, dude, I will guarantee you that somebody, and he had probably 20 goose bands, on his lanyard. Gone. Gone. The next person that hunted that point probably got in there and went, dude, look at this.
And then now they're putting them on their lanyard and bragging to their buddies,
Yeah. So I guess the point of that is he went back out, and dude, I think he added like a Nightingale double clucker plus or something to his he went out and got another lanyard, but he bought all super cheap calls, and we still killed birds. We still killed birds. We didn't not kill birds because he was running a $20 goose call.
Right.
And
I think
this was way back.
Yeah, but I think there's a nice balance there. There's a nice marriage, between like something that's not going to break the bank, but also sounds like your $300 call.
Yes.
And that's what I'm trying to do is like make these calls sound as good and as reliable as your $300 call, but are not going to kill you. Right. And if you break it, no big deal. So, I love them. Props to all those big guys. Sean Mann, Scott Trinan, Big Sean. Those guys are, awesome. And they are amazing at what they do. And I'm just, those guys are amazing. But I don't nearly have the experience that those guys do. But, I'm trying to make something that sounds just as good as, the high dollar calls out there.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to throw any of those guys under the bus because I have.
No, they're amazing.
They're amazing dudes.
Guys, man.
Exactly.
That's what I grew up on. Sean Mann, the Sean Mann shorty, the flute. that's what I grew up on.
An East Coast boy like you, that longshoreman goose flute.
That's right, man. Sean Mann was the dude. The silhouettes. I remember there was this quote from Sean Mann. It was like, in his pits when he was guiding, every single person had a flag, right? Huh. And then he was like one of the first ones to really do that short read, other than foils. But it was just cool, man. And then the first short read call I ever blew was a Tim Grounds half-breed goose talk. And absolute legend,
Oh, dude, yeah. yeah, foils, grounds, Sean Man.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, Big Sean.
Yeah.
There's so many dudes, you know, Fred Zink, you know, I mean, we could go down the line, and I'm sure there's people I'm missing. And of course, then you get into the that's just the goose call world. You get into the duck call world, and good grief, you know, arguably the most famous duck hunter of all time is Phil Robertson, who made a living selling $10 goose calls.
Yep.
Because he had the same philosophy you did. I want to make a call for everybody that sounds good and that's affordable.
Yep.
Great. You know, and I kill a lot of ducks with duck commander calls.
And as simple as that. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and I like your point about, because I think people can get hung up on price and you know, warranty and everything like that. But I keep going back to how good your calls sound, because I'll be quite honest. When I went to your website after that first hunt, that first Platte Basin hunt, I looked you up and I went, what? I was expecting a $300 call.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting to find. And I was like, holy smokes, man. And yeah, I'm a little ashamed to admit that I literally, it wasn't until just talking to you a few minutes ago at the beginning of this podcast that I thought all three of my kids need custom duck calls and goose calls. I need to do that. Why haven't I thought of that?
Your Christmas present.
Yes, that's exactly what it's going to be. I think they're all going to get calls from Dad.
Yep.
So and a lanyard. And anyway, oh, dude, no, I love it, man. So what do you got coming up this fall? Let's switch gears. We've been beating the call drum. So what about hunting?
Yeah, I mean, hunting, dog training. It's always ongoing. Because you're a black lab. I mean, not to switch topics, but you're a black lab guy too, right?
Hey, man, all dogs want to be labs and all labs want to be black.
That's right, man. I run 2 black labs. They're my pride and joy. I got my OG girl, Jovi, you know.
You got good looking dogs, dude. And I've heard amazing things about them.
Yeah. If you ever had the privilege to hunt over Jovi, she's pretty special. You know, she's got her own pace. She's not your fire breather that's going to sprint there, sprint back. But man, she's pulled out some insane retrieves. She's going to Canada. She just turned 7, but man, she's been my guide dog since day 1. But then I got her son, because I've had 2 litters out of her, and I had her son Mo, and his big block-headed American hard driving lab. You know, that's just like your fire breather. That is just like, so I got 2 sides of the coin, which is fun. But
I think that's a good combo to have, man. You got to have a smart one, and you got to have a one that'll run through a brick wall for you.
He will run through a brick wall of cattails, and then a brick wall of he's just hard driving. But the thing is, man, he's the softest dog. I swear, he is a big wuss. But when there's a bird, that switch flips, and man, he is just an awesome, awesome dog.
I have the same exact thing with Hondo. He is,
and I've heard great things about Hondo, man. You know?
Oh, he's fun. He's great. Yeah, he's great. But he's the same type of dog you're talking about. Yeah. He'll, when it comes to retrieving or hunting, because I use him, I upland hunt with him too. Dude, he's unstoppable and unstoppable to the point where I have to be like looking out for his well-being because he won't do it for himself.
Yeah, literally, that's exactly with Mo, man. I got to watch that dude like a hawk. Jovi, I don't worry about because she's too smart.
That was Mackinac. That was my Mackinac dog, dude. No. He didn't get himself in trouble because he's like a mule. He just, I'm not jumping off that ice flow. Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna go where
I'm not doing that.
Way, you know, but
exactly where Hondo's like, I'm gonna see how far if I could jump across the rivers and not get, you know. It's like, good grief.
I don't care how deep the water is. I don't care what's in the water.
Yup. But then at the same time, he's a huge wuss. You know, we got a new pup. We put Mackinac down in January.
Oh, sorry.
So I appreciate that, man.
I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, Jovi's getting up there, but I can't even put myself in that mental space to think about how much of a wreck I'm going to be.
It was pretty hard. It was pretty hard, dude. Not going to lie. But yeah, I had a litter, had bred Hondo with a nice, pretty little British black female that my buddy has. Pedigrees through the roof, you know. And he and I have talked about this on the podcast a bunch. You know, when I am trying to push him into the world of, you know, hunt tests.
Yep.
But holy smokes, dude, where we live, because I know you do some hunt tests, but where we live, it's so far.
Dude, it's
and I'm
the
like,
travel, the time commitment, the money aspect. I mean,
right.
I was pretty hot and heavy in it the last few years. I kind of took a break, this summer from Hunt Test, just with everything going on. Got married last fall, did the honeymoon.
Yeah, congratulations. I saw that.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
You got married in the fall?
Yeah, we got married. Well, no. So let me, I got to back up a little bit. I got married the first week in October because I'm playing a little chess, not checkers, because my wife, she's a big hunter. She loves it. So now, our anniversary trip this coming up is going to be an antelope hunt down in southern Colorado. So, it's chess. I'm not here. Yes, we got married in the fall, but it was like the start of hunting season. So it's a great way to kick off hunting season.
It's one of those things too, that if you marry a hunter, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like I'm going on 12 years, maybe 13. I don't remember. Don't tell my wife that. But she hunts, we hunt as a family, so it's like, and honestly, quite honestly, after the first couple and you start having kids too, you're like, okay, let's do something really cool for our 20th anniversary or the big milestone ones. But the every year ones, it's like, let's go out to dinner.
Yeah.
And
it's like, maybe let's go to Alaska for a caribou hunt or something.
But that's the cool thing when you marry a hunter is you can do hunting trips for your anniversary.
Yep. And my wife wasn't a hunter, man. She was a vegetarian when I met her, actually.
Good for you.
Yeah. And I flipped that coin pretty well. But our big thing is having a sustainable lifestyle of eating non-processed meat if we can help it. Right. So we love being able to go harvest, our own meat and keep freezers full to provide for us year round. We shot 2 elk last year. She harvested her first bull elk, a beautiful 6x6, and it's been fun to watch it. So
that's cool, man. Yeah, I remember the days of no kids and doing dog stuff and just worrying about training dogs. But back to the dogs. I get it. Hondo is a huge wuss. He's a
easy
huge
to train though, man. Easy to train. Soft dogs are easy to train. I would much rather train a soft dog than a hard dog any day because they're going to get your point. Like you can yell at them and they're going to get your point across that was not the right decision to make. Yeah,
one little bit of correction where it doesn't take much pressure. I completely changed my tune with about e-collars, and I started using one on him because I needed to be able to control him. Yeah, and not yell. And I remember one day I was out at the lake and he's not doing what I'm asking him to do. And he's 75, 80 yards away and he's not responding to my commands because he's just hunting.
Yeah.
And I'm yelling and I was like, this is dumb. I can't do this. And so I went and got a collar. Dude, I don't hardly ever have to use that collar. It's just like a little reminder. He's like, yep, gotcha. Yeah, because he's soft and he wants to please.
They all please, man. It's just dogs will make liars out of you. I try not to talk too much about my dogs because that's when I take them out hunting and that's when they'll have their bad day. And all dogs have bad days. Dogs
you never brag about your own dog. Let other people do that.
Dogs are like people, man. We have bad days. We get in bad moods. Dogs are the same way. You got to give them some slack every now and then.
That's so true.
That's so true. Love them. They're not.
Yeah, I was before I came into work this morning, before I dropped the kids off at school and came into work, I was like looking out the slider and Hondo and Rooster in the backyard, and Rooster is just wearing Hondo out. And I'm like, dude, he weighs like 20 pounds and you're 75 pounds. And you could kill him so easily. And you're just laying on your back and they're wrestling, having father-son time. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I think Rooster's going to be way more aggressive than his dad is and way tougher than his dad. But I don't know. We'll see. Because Hondo was a little turd too. We used to take it to Mackinac like that when he was little. But
that's what you want, man. You want a soft dog.
I think so. Buddy and I were talking about this last night, visiting. He's got, I don't know how many dogs he's got, but it's ridiculous. He's got, he's cowboys, does day work cowboying. And so he's got cattle dogs. He's got stock dogs. And he's got 4 or 5 border collies. And, he's doing day work. So he needs those dogs because he's working solo.
Yeah.
And he's training those. He's training bird dogs. He's training Labrador retrievers. I mean, the dude just loves dogs. And we got talking about it last night. We were talking about a dog that is scary dogs.
Yep.
Dogs that are like, look at you, and they're timid dogs that aren't friendly, and all of a sudden, bite somebody. And it's like, man, I don't want that. I want a dog like Hondo or, Jovi, where you don't have to worry about that, man. That dog is chill.
Yep.
They're friendly. They're soft.
Yeah,
they're nice.
Soft. They're good in the house,
Exactly.
Yeah, they're around kids. That's the dogs that I'm breeding. And we bred Jovi twice, but I'm not breeding him. I wasn't never breeding for financial reasons. I was breeding to improve the breed. I was breeding to keep a dog for myself. I gave a dog from the last litter to my dog trainer, so I can get another dog out of that, down the road. So
yeah, you're playing that game, once it's funny how that works out. But you find you get a dog you really, really like.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, how do I reproduce this? I want anyway, we could.
That's been Jovi. That's been Jovi for me, man. I mean, she's had some beautiful pups that are doing great. Her pups are from her last litter, already are running their first hunt test. So cool. It's fun to see, man. It's fun to see. It's fun to hunt.
Yeah. Well, she's a beautiful dog. You can go and look on your Instagram page, and I'm like, that is a beautiful dog for sure.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's super cool. But
like that 60 pound, 65 pound, female black lab that just is steady. That's one way I describe her. She's consistent. She's going to pick up everything you need. And when we're hunting in pits, when it's not her time, she's asleep and she's not in client's lap. She's not running up and down the pit. She's right next to me and asleep. Guns go off. She's like, okay, I'm ready.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's I had a dog like that, but yeah, it was all the dogs I've had since are like, no, this is like sticking out head out the pit or out of the blind. They're like dialed to 10 all the time.
And that's Mo for sure. Yeah.
Sure. I love all the different personalities though, man. And yeah, it's super cool. But anyway, so teal season. Are you guys still rocking your teal season, or is it closed down there?
No, it actually opens up this weekend. So it opens up tomorrow.
Okay.
I just got off the phone with John a little bit before this call, and he's all excited. He was on a morning scout loop this morning, and we're actually just got a massive push of dove and teal. So it looks like we're gonna have a nice little combo shoot tomorrow. But I'm gonna wish
we had that.
Yeah, I'm out this weekend because my wife's got a bear tag, so we're heading down to southern Colorado to go try to shoot a bear. And then, other hunting stuff, man. We got 2 antelope tags the first weekend in October for our hunting anniversary, if you will.
Heck yeah.
She's got another elk tag in November, a deer tag in November, and then I got a big elk tag coming up in January that I cashed in a bunch of points for this year.
Dude, good for you.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are going to be loaded. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I love donating meat. I love being able to share our harvest with people. So, I mean, I'm a hunting addict, but it's fun. It should be good. Colorado's changing their point system coming up in a few years, where points really won't be worth as much, if you will, because it's going to go more to like a pure lottery for some units. So, had 7 points, burned them on a pretty good unit, late season tag. But I think the biggest part from that is just going to be finding a bull that isn't too broke up. That's
always the way it is in those late season hunts, man.
Yeah.
It's trying to find a bull that's not busted.
Yeah, it's going to be cold, but I'm excited for it. I had a buddy who had this same tag a couple years ago, who shot a really beautiful bull. So, just trying to make it count. But,
yeah, no, good for you. I wish I had your tags. Holy smokes. I can't draw a tag. It's been 10 years since I've drawn a bull or an elk tag in the state of Wyoming. Took me 15 years to draw a deer tag, but the other part of it are the tags that I'm applying for. I'm applying for tags that are not easy draws. They're tags.
Every year you need to either hunt OTC or
which is what I do.
Is I hit the stats, man. I'm always putting in. Colorado's nice because I can get a point at first choice and then get a tag that goes to leftover at second choice. So I know I'm getting a point and I have a hunt, even though it might not be the best odds. We're at least gonna have an opportunity to get out. And if we don't want to go, that's fine, right?
Yeah,
because we got the point. So
right, and Wyoming's set up where for residents it's random. There's no points. We get points for sheep and moose,
right?
And everything else is random. And you're looking at draw odds. I think my deer tag I drew a couple years ago was 2.2 3% draw odds, like a sheep draw odds.
Yeah.
And because it's a super premium hunt, it's not only is it a rut hunt in November, it's the migration out of Yellowstone.
Oh, God.
So, dude, it's like, and this is not great mule deer country where we live in the northwest corner.
Yeah, so where
it's
are you
not
at?
Great. So we're outside of Cody. We're in the northwest corner of Wyoming.
Yeah, I'm gonna be up there next month, man. I'm helping a buddy. So Cody, kind of my business partner in C4 Calls, he's got a really big tag in outside of Worland that he cashed in, I think 13 or 15 points for. So I'll be up that way later October. Maybe we'll have to link up or something. But
an elk tag.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be hunting around Worland, 10 Sleep, that area.
Yep. Yeah, there'd be let's chat about that.
Yeah,
I have some intel for you on that one, and awesome. I'd love to meet up with you when you guys get out here for sure. We're talking about big game, but honestly, it's hunting, and I'm not the kind of guy that just hunts birds. I love upland bird hunting. I love waterfowl hunting. I like shooting turkeys. I like shooting doves. But I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again. If you want to go hunting, dude, if it's rats at the dump, I'm in. Let's go hunt. Let's go hunt, dude. Yeah. I don't care.
It's about the camaraderie more than the game, man. It's about getting out in the field and enjoying nature and sharing it with the people that you love, and the people that you want to spend time with. That's hunting. I think as all hunters, we probably go through the evolution of like crazy, like I just want to like go out and harvest as many things as possible. Then it like shifts into like bands or like the biggest thing. But then I think as you grow through your hunting career, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I feel like I'm just there to have a good time with people that I want to spend time with. Harvest is a bonus, everybody loves the harvest, but it's about the time. We're not here for a long time, but we should enjoy it while we're here.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I've gotten to the point now where like I shot one turkey last year.
Yeah.
But I was involved on like a dozen turkey kills where I called in birds, and whether it was for guys, other dudes I was hunting with, or my kids, or my wife. I mean, I was part of a lot of successful turkey hunts last year, but I pulled the trigger once. And honestly,
it's fun the other times where you didn't pull the trigger.
Dude, I honestly, I won't say that I don't like shooting turkeys in the face, because that never really gets old. But
that never gets old, man.
No. I get just as much a kick out of it, maybe more now, at watching somebody else do it. I really, especially when it's my wife or my kids.
Gosh, I couldn't tell you how excited I was when my wife shot her elk last year.
Yeah,
I was a kid on Christmas, man. And then later that same day, actually, I was able to harvest one myself, and it was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but like, it was different. I had so much fun watching her harvest her first elk, the emotion, the tears, all of it. And just, I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I shot mine too.
Especially coming from her background. Like you said, she was a vegetarian, and now she's a hunter. She's part of the family, the clan, and to go out and take an elk. I mean, that's my wife, her first big game animal was a cow elk, and a couple days later, she killed a giant bull. And I'm like, this is crazy, man, because where I grew up as a kid, you couldn't hunt big game till you were 14 years old. And I grew up shooting small game, shooting rough grouse and woodcock and ducks and geese and, rabbits and stuff like that, and honing my skills doing that. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to introduce my wife to hunting, and the first thing she shoots is a 6x6, 330-inch bull elk. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I take my kids out, and it's like, oh yeah, we just, we went out and killed 2 turkeys before mom was up. We were home by, we were in the blind for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, you guys are spoiled, man. I tell you what, but part of that is getting them hooked on it.
Yep.
And then expanding their experiences as they go. This year, they're going to spend a lot more time in the duck and goose blind with me, trying my 10-year-old, especially trying to shoot a duck or a goose on the wing.
Yeah.
I'm going to land a couple and let her swat them with her 20 gauge on the water. And then it's like, okay, now we're going to start shooting them on the wing, and you're going to miss a lot.
Yep.
And you're going to get frustrated, but you're going to learn.
Yep.
And just making it harder and harder and harder. And that progression out of the progression of a hunter. Like you hit the nail on the head a little bit ago, talking about the different phases, the different stages. But it's exciting, man. I wish I had your tags. I don't have much coming up. I've got a bunch of OTC stuff. I've got an antelope hunt with the Weatherby guys.
Nice.
The first week of October.
Awesome.
And that'll be fun. That's an easy tag for a resident of Wyoming to get, but the access is really an issue because it's largely private. But that'll be a ton of fun working on some new stuff with those guys. Love working with the Weatherby guys. It's always fun.
They produce a great product, man.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, I personally don't own a Weatherby, but I know
you will. You will. You own me long enough. You will.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go against the. I mean, I got plenty of guns, but I've heard great things about Weatherby.
No, they do. They make a great gun, and honestly, the thing I like most about them is the business model and the family oriented ethos that they have. That company, I was just over there a couple weeks ago, did a factory tour, shot this new product that I can't really talk much about until after the first of the year, played with a bunch of new stuff. And I love the fact that they're always innovating. I mean, this is their 80th anniversary. And if you've seen the 80th anniversary rifle that they're producing, dude, I got to hold one and I'm like, I can't afford this, but holy crap, do I want one, And, but just you go over there and Adam and Brenda Weatherby welcome you into their home. I mean, you go into their house for dinner.
Yep.
Most companies just take you out to a restaurant, feed you. And we do that too, but at least once you're at their house and Brenda is cooking for you because she's an amazing chef. She loves to cook for people. They like to entertain. And you go over and you're just hanging out with like-minded people that, they're great. And all the people they work with, whether it's, we did the Platte Basin snow goose hunt last year and I invited the Weatherby guys down, had one of the guys from Federal come down.
Yeah. And
it was such a cool camp because everybody was just good dudes and got along. And that's what I love about waterfowl hunting. It's just you go have a good time and everybody enjoys themselves. And if you don't like it, you're either antisocial or you don't like to hunt,
Yeah. Or you don't like people too. I mean, waterfowl hunting's camaraderie. It's a social activity. That's what I love about it.
Me too.
I grew up hunting whitetail out of a tree stand in Maryland, and man, that just wasn't for me. I'm a get up and move, can't sit still kind of guy. So that's why I love the big game spot and stalk.
Right.
I love waterfowl because I'm always, people make fun of me. I'm always probably moving decoys or messing with dogs or doing something, but I can talk to people. I don't have to
Zach, get in the blind.
Yeah, probably. I got a buddy back in Maryland. He would always give me crap about that. It's like, oh, there goes Zach again, moving one decoy.
Don't worry,
that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it this time. That one decoy moving 2 inches.
Yep, exactly. I don't like the way these look. I do the same thing. I do the same thing. It's like, especially on our rivers, dude, that stuff gets shifted around. The current shifts things. The next thing you know, 2 decoys are touching, and I'm like, no. It's got to be fixed. Gotta look
right. Yeah. Does it matter in the grand scheme of things?
Not a bit. More than likely.
Give me a little mental piece. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and the next flock invariably will do it right, and you're like, "See, I told you." See?
Yeah.
I told you.
See? Yeah.
It was those 2 decoys that were touching.
Right. That was
out of the 50 that I have out.
I've gotten better about that, especially setting so many freaking decoys in Colorado on the front range.
Yes.
We run we're in trailers. We're setting 100 dozen some days. And I'm like, just get them things out of the trailer and leave a hole, right? At the end of the day.
Honestly, if you watch geese, if you watch geese, because you go with the Platte Basin crew, and they're like, okay, every 3 feet, put a decoy. Take a step, put a decoy. Take a step, put a decoy. Kind of thing. And if you watch geese, if you watch geese feed, there's never much rhyme or reason to it unless they're lined up. Maybe a grain truck drove out of the field and spilled a whole row of grain, and they're all lined up like cattle on that thing.
Right. But if we see that scout, we're going to set that way. But
yes, you're going to set it just like the birds were.
Most days it's like, all right, which way is the wind going? Where's the pit? Cool. Dump them out of the trailer and let's roll. Because we have so many decoys to set just to kill birds, which I think Front Range Colorado's got so much pressure. I've hunted in a lot of places for geese, little geese, and I still will believe that like Front Range Colorado is one of the hardest places to kill little geese. Texas is its own thing, but man, just the sheer amount of hunting pressure that we get on this Front Range of Colorado is crazy.
I would agree with that.
There's a pit in every other field, right?
Yep.
Everybody's doing the same thing. Everyone's running a trailer, 2 trailers. So it's like every year it's like the geese getting smarter and smarter and smarter, and I feel like they act more and more like a snow goose, which snow geese are tough, man.
Dude, that's been the 3 times that I've hunted little geese.
Yep.
In Colorado and in Oklahoma. I mean, you see the spins, you see the rainouts on social media, and we all know that social media is BS. It's like it's make-believe land. You're seeing snippets of people's absolute best moments out of an entire season, and that's what you're seeing on social media. And we get caught up in that. When the reality of it is, I've got my butt kicked every single time we've hunted littles. We've killed geese, and when I hunt with the Platte Basin guys, that's the best goose hunting, the best little goose hunting that I've ever had.
And we get them more times than not, right?
You do. Yeah, you do.
99% traffic, right? We're running traffic on little geese that act like snow geese.
Right.
And if you ever hunt a snow geese, you got to be on the X, and they still might flip you the bird. So it's tough, man. Yeah.
It is. Those things are really, really hard. Where, back to our roots of hunting honkers, you in Maryland and me in Michigan.
Yep.
And you can run traffic on them.
Yep.
You can hunt a loaf. You can chase feeds. You can do all these different things.
You can run 24 decoys and kill them, which is my favorite part.
Dude, I love it. I showed him a picture of the very last day of season 2 years ago. Me and 2 buddies loaded up a camera guy and a couple of labs, and we went out, threw up an A-frame on the edge of a picked cornfield and a diffed up barley field. The geese were landing in the dirt and walking into the corn to feed.
Yep.
And I put it right on the edge, and I literally mocked the scout with literally maybe 3 dozen decoys.
Yep.
4 dozen at most.
Yep.
And dude, we killed 15 geese in 10 minutes, and it was just like we had the right day. It was snowy. They trusted the call. And these are the geese that have been in this area all season long. They're not stupid.
Yep.
But the weather was right. We mocked up the same exact scenario that they had been feeding in for the last 3 days. And they we crushed them. Just crushed them. And I sent the pic to those guys, and they're like, dude, that's not even fair.
Yeah. I mean,
that's because you're working so hard down there to do the same thing.
Tell you what, like John and Michael tell you, but like John loves little geese, right? And don't get me wrong, those big spins littles are fun.
Right.
But if I see like a 50 big goose feed, and I got the choice between that and like 5K of littles, I'm gonna take a 50.
Yep.
I'm gonna take the 50 because I know they're probably gonna come in 2s and 3s.
Yep.
Better shooting for clients, and and I can go out there and set 6 decoys around the pit and kill them.
Yes.
Exactly.
So like,
why would I want to go blow my lungs out for 5 hours for a bunch of geese to just spin me 50 times and then go to the next field?
Oh, dude, I hear you. I absolutely get it. But the littles are fun for sure. And it's when you get them, it feel. The interesting thing is, and you guys probably saw this in Maryland too. In the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, we would get littles, but they were always either in 2s, 3s, 4s, or mixed in with honkers.
Yeah, saw that a lot in Maryland. Get the schmear.
Yes, and they were dumb.
Holy
smokes, were they
dumb? Those things take the elevator like no other geese, but like it's like that flock mentality.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, and it gets them killed when they're in in 3s or 4s because they want to be down. They want to be with the other geese so bad. And then one year, I'll never forget this, we had about 200 of them show up in a group. You couldn't kill those things, dude. You'd have had to snipe them with a rifle to kill them because they would not come to a spread. They would, if they flew into a field and saw your spread, they'd spin you 200 yards up 50 times, and then they go land in the hayfield next door.
And that's what we're dealing with, man. The geese numbers get bigger and bigger every year, it seems like. So they're acting more and more like snow geese. And we're getting flocks of 1,000, 2,000. I mean, there'll be feeds of 40, 50, 60K, right? And like, that might be a slight exaggeration, but not on some of the big feeds that we get, man. I mean, we get massive feeds on the Front Range. And yeah, you could be right next to them. Like, we had a hunt last year. I remember, like, we were maybe 200 yards off the X. We killed like 4, right? It's tough. Just because they're just like, I'm going to follow the bird that's right in front of me. It's the nearest neighbor rule, right? I'm going to follow the bird or whatever that's right next to my left or my right. And wherever they're going, I'm going. So
yeah. Yep. It's crazy, man, when you start digging into that type of stuff, because I saw it. I'd always wanted to hunt the Front Range. Always wanted to hunt it. Even when I was back in Michigan, it was starting to become a thing. And I'm like, yeah, I want to go out there and do that. And then I remember the first time I drove down to Denver, and my wife through her job, we were there for some oil and gas award thing, kind of driving around. And I'm like, there's no way that you could DIY this. Yeah. Like, you need to hunt with an outfitter down here.
Yeah.
They've got the pits, they've got the gear. Yep. They've got the scout.
Yep.
You just show up and hunt. And quite honestly, it's a specialized deal. It's a specialized spread. And you're going to you're going to go out and buy a $10,000 or $15,000 trailer and, several thousand, $30,000, $40,000 worth of decoys to DIY stuff? You can take a lot of guided trips for that amount of money.
Yep.
And just show up and have a good time, dude.
Bring your gun and ammo, man. We'll take care of the rest.
Yes. And if you do it enough, like if you're a local down there and you do it enough, you're going to meet those guides. They're going to become your friends.
Yep.
I look at Jalen Witt, and that's how things started for him. Yeah. And he helps out, and he's there, and that dude's a character, man.
He's fun.
Yeah.
That dude's catch fish. You want to go fly fishing in Colorado, you need to hit up Jalen.
Yes, and I need to get him on the podcast, actually. He and I have been trying. Yeah, pinning him down is a little bit tricky, but he's kind of farting a skillet. But anyway,
he's a good guy, man. I like him. But yeah, I mean, to exactly your point, I think in the Front Range of Colorado, it is one of the premier goose hunting states. Honestly, I think that's a little, I think people think about goose hunting like, oh, Texas, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, Nebraska, and even Wyoming. But I think Colorado's kind of an underdog. But it's a premier goose hunting state if you have the right setup. If you have if you have a diversity of locations of fields like we do at Platte Basin, man. We stay on them and we have consistent success because of that. We're scouting all the time. We have some great fields. We got all the decoys that you could ever want, and that's why we're able to stay on them. But,
yep. And that's what kills us up here is you said the diversity of fields. Yeah. We're just so limited, people here. I feel like one of the new things over the last 10 to 15 years is hunting out west for waterfowl. And what people have to understand, especially folks that come from the East Coast or that come from the Midwest or the Great Lakes region or down south, you come to places like Wyoming or Colorado, and your birds they're very, very concentrated in very small geographic areas.
Yep.
And the hunting can be incredibly hard, because you're dealing in those where you have those birds, you usually have agriculture, and you have an agriculture's private ground. Yep. You're going to struggle to get access. You're going to there, and everybody's hunting the exact same place because it's a small piece of habitat. It's not like Wyoming's not like the state of Michigan, dude, where there's water all over the place. So you got birds from east to west to north to south. There's birds everywhere. Someplace there's going to be birds. You just go there and there's birds. It's not like that here. It's not like that in Montana. It's not like that in Colorado. And so it's difficult to come out to these places and DIY hunt.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's where finding an outfitter like Platte Basin Outdoors and going, you know what? I'm going to pay these guys, and we're going to go. All we're going to have to worry about is just shooting.
Yeah.
We're just going to go and we want to shoot. Yeah. You're going to have a good time. And it's the same way up here. You got my friend Noah with Mountain View Mallards up here. It's like, you want to go shoot, have a Western Wyoming hunting experience for waterfowl. I'll put you in touch with Noah. Give me a call. And you're going to go kill birds. And you're going to have a great time, You're not going to pull your hair out trying to DIY and freelance some stuff. These Western states are hard to freelance in that regard. They're not the Dakotas. You know, the Dakotas are different. Canada's different.
It's different.
Even the Midwest, a lot of the Midwestern states like Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois. I feel like
Oklahoma, you can kind of DIY some stuff.
Yeah, you can. And because stuff isn't, you know, the leasing game has changed the face of waterfowl hunting for your average guy, because we lost so much when we were door knocking. I remember I'd lose farms every single year because they'd let people hunt, and then somebody would come in and they'd do something boneheaded.
Yep.
Or they'd track something, or they'd shoot a building,
shoot a cow.
You name it. And so pretty soon the farmer's like, nope, no more hunting.
Yep.
And you lose. And I lost 3-4 spots a year like that, every stinking year, or every couple of years. And finally, I got fed up with it. I'm like, I tell you what, why don't you let me manage the hunting on these places, and I'll lease it from you, and all the hunting permission. I'll still let folks on. I'll still, we'll get families out here. We'll get kids out here, but we're going to manage it. It's not going to be a free for all on your property.
Right.
And folks like that.
Yeah.
Folks really like that. And I don't lease a ton of ground. I don't, I feel guilty even leasing stuff, because I'm from the old school where you hunted, everybody would let you hunt, and you could just do it with a handshake, show up, get on a place. And as long as you treated it respectfully, you can hunt there in perpetuity, and so the whole pay to play thing, I get it. I understand it. And I do some of it, but at the same time, I hate it. I wish we could go back to just on your honor, knock on a door. And I think those days are rapidly coming to a close, and we'll never get them back, simply because there's so many of us now. There's so many people that places like the Front Range. Yeah, dude, that's a lease game. You're not going to get on by knocking on doors.
No, I mean, you can, in parts of Colorado, but like in our area,
right,
from like Wellington down to like Fort Lupton, like north of Denver, and then out to like Sterling. Yeah, man, it's a lease game. I mean, you can get knock on doors way out east, way down south, western slope, for sure.
Right.
But in this very concentrated, because like the Front Range of Colorado has the concentration of birds. We have Platte River, we have big reservoirs. They come out of Wyoming and they hit that agriculture along the Platte, and that's where they stay, right? And then they bounce between different reservoirs. So, that's Mike's model too, right? It's just like kind of manage that land and manage it well, and then treat people respectfully. So I think it's a great model that he's got. It's been working well. We got a lot of land and we got a lot of leases, but it kind of funnels through. It kind of all funnels through Mike. That way it's control. That way those landowners, those farmers, they can trust you. They got one point of contact. They have a problem, right? They're going to call Mike.
That's exactly how I run mine. I am the point of contact. I'm the one. All they have to do, if somebody stops at the house, at the farmhouse, wants to hunt, they just hey, this is his phone number you need. Give him a call.
Yep.
And I try to get people on, because we live in a small community, and if I'm being a jerk and I'm telling people nope, well, that's not what I want. That's not what's good for hunting either. And then you get a dad that shows up and he's got a couple little kids, and hey, I was just wondering, I'm like, yes, go.
Yeah.
You got Onyx? Here's a waypoint where my blind is. It's full of decoys.
Yeah. And
just put it back the way you found it, dude.
More people need to be like that, man.
Well, it's easier for us to do that here because there's only 6,000 people where we live. In our valley, I shouldn't say that. Our valley, it's kind of like the Front Range.
Mm-hmm.
People are really spread out. There's a few towns, but people are spread out in between, and so there's a lot more people here than initially you think. And that's why stuff's getting leased up. That's why things have changed. But I still like, the farmers I deal with. It's like, yeah, these are waterfowl leases, but dude, can you help me out with these deer?
Yeah,
because these whitetails are eating me out of house and home.
Coyotes,
and I'm like,
coyotes are big here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of a year-round thing where I'm like, yeah. So I'm rounding up how many people I know that have doe tags, and we're out here after the general deer season's over and we're done hunting, specific bucks. It's like, all right, let's waylay some of these does.
Yep.
Let's fill our freezers. And the landowner ends up with half a dozen to a dozen landowner coupons, you know, little bit of grease in his palm, and people bring home meat. Kids get to come out and shoot deer. You know, it's more of a land management model than a leasing model, in my opinion. It really is. And it's just kind of how I approach it. And it's like you said, it's one point of contact. Yeah. They're like, yep, call Todd. And if honestly, still, you know, because I have to produce content off of these places at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I'm managing it, you know, I'm trying to manage pressure, you know, on these birds. And if I've got something where it's like, dude, I'm going to hunt this in 2 days and it's loading up with birds, and I got somebody that wants to go hunt, I'm like, you know, probably not this weekend, but I'm going to hunt it on, you know, I'm going to hunt it whenever I know this in my head. Let's get you in here next Wednesday, or let's get you in here next Saturday, you know, and they come out, they have a good time. Everybody's happy, but yeah, I don't know. It's just different, dude, than the model I grew up with. You know, I don't know how old you are, Zach, but you know, I'm
just turned the big 30.
Oh geez, you're a pup.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I just, you know, I'm 47, and growing up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, I very seldom had to even ask permission to go hunting. It was just like all the fields around my house, you just went and hunted. And you knew there was a few places that was like, yeah, that's old man Johnson. You know, you don't go on his place.
There's some places around here that's like, that is a hard no. And don't ever knock on the door again.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly. But we just had the run. We just had the run of it, you know. And I feel like one of those old timers. It's like, back in my day. But honestly, it's changed. It's changed so much. And I look back and I talk to the guys that are the buddies that we had hunting waterfowl in southern Michigan, and it's like none of them even hunt anymore. A couple of them, because they're like, dude, I can't. It's all leased up, you know. Nobody lets you on. It's all. I'm like, man, it just kills me to see that
money game, right? And it's like I got same guys back in Maryland, man. They rarely hunt anymore unless they got like one good lease, but it's still a lease game there. You know, and then like now Maryland, it's like they've been going back and forth between like 1 or 2 geese a day as their daily bag limit.
Yeah.
So it's like they're like, what am I going to go outside all these decoys for 1 goose? Like, no, I'd rather.
That was Michigan. In we could kill 5 from September 1st through the 10th or the 15th, depending on where you were in the state. This is back then. We could kill 5 because those were the resident geese that didn't migrate. They were the giants. Mm-hmm. And then you could kill 5 more in the late season that ran through the month of December and into January. But in the regular goose season, when you were hunting the molt migrators out of Canada, those Hudson's Bay geese, kill 2. And some years it was 1, you know, and it was like, holy smokes. That was those were the hunts where, you know, we were all hunting on layout blinds back then. Those were the hunts where you wanted like 6-8 dudes. Yeah. Because you're setting up, you know, several dozen decoys, and you want to get the most bang for your buck, because you can literally go out and go bang, bang. Okay, I'm done. Right.
Which is fun, which is awesome, but like you don't want the hunt to be over so quick.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because it's like I got a good group of Maryland boys that come out to Colorado and hunt with PBO, you know, every year. I think they're coming in November this year, but it'd be funny, right? We'll like shoot 40 or 35 or something. We're like, man, that's a 35-minute limit from where you come from. You know,
exactly. You know, 35-minute limit.
You know, you got a 35-minute limit right here. Like that's a lot of people back in Maryland. But
it took us long. It would take us longer to drive to the field and set up decoys than it did to limit out most days back there. In October. Yeah, dude, it was, and we shot a lot of geese, but holy smokes, man, it was like bang bang, and it got to the point where it was like, okay, I need to be 25 honkers. And I'm like, everybody shoot 1 goose.
Yeah. Or you just start band hunting.
Boom. And, you know, there'd be 5-6 geese laying there, because inevitably somebody's going to miss, or if guys are going to shoot the same bird. But it's like, don't try to triple or double, because we want to be out here for more than 15 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, the good old days. I'm glad we're living in the good old days, as much as I can complain about things. You know, I look at the numbers of birds we have, ducks and geese, you know, and there's places that are hurting, you know, like back that Atlantic seaboard's hurting. Like their mallard numbers are just tanking, you know.
It's really sad to see. You know, it's just water, it's just habitat. But I think they're trying to do a good job of trying to get a good conservation model in place. So I can't fault DNR for limiting, you know, harvest numbers, but it's tough, man. I mean, guys would just rather come out west or go to Canada or North Dakota or wherever and try to hunt over there. And just, yeah, it's tough, but we are living in the good old days, I think. And we have the privilege to be able to go out and hunt, and we have that right and that freedom, and, you know, very blessed to be able to go hunt and do the things we love to do. So,
amen, brother. Amen.
Can't complain too much.
Nope. I think that's a good note to end on. Nice and positive. Oh, yeah. Dude, it's been a wonderful time. Zach, I've enjoyed our conversation. We had a little blip in there that we'll get edited out, or we'll edit around. And I don't know, maybe we'll make it a 2-part podcast. I don't know. We'll see how the editing crew wants to do that. But guys, if in the first half of this podcast, we talked about Zach's calls, you know, C4 game calls or C4 calls, goose calls, duck calls, and there's an elk call or duck call. There's an elk call in there, 3 different types of goose calls. Zach can customize these things. They're 3D printed. They sound awesome. They're tough. But if you do break one, he stands behind it. He'll make another one because it's a simple process for him. It's a print file, and he makes you another one. These things are hunting tools. I've personally hunted with them, and I can vouch for them. They sound amazing. They're durable, and they kill birds. So, Zach, thank you for being on the podcast. Where can people find you if they want to take a look at your calls?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Easiest way, you can go to our website, c4calls.com, C and then the number 4 calls.com. You can find us on Instagram with that same handle. Shoot me a personal message on there, and we can get it going for you.
Cool. Well, guys, thanks for listening to this episode of the Wingmen Podcast. I hope you enjoy listening to it as much as I did producing it. Zach, again, thank you for being on. And guys, get out there, get after it, make some memories in the field this fall. And until next time, we'll see you in the field.